Okay, this is Bapsa, and I will be doing your. Well, this is the second review from me to you, but okay. So again, one thing I do go over at the very beginning is matchup wise. So as Irelia, you have the advantage of having doing a lot of front-loaded damage with your Q, right? Combined with like a potential stun and then your true damage, you can kill GP very early. Otherwise, against GP, it's very difficult to deal with him once he reaches like level 7, when his barrels tick down faster, and when he gets like Sheen. So your first items should be like Tab Eyes, Ninja Tab Eyes, and then into like some like a Sheen oriented build, because he's only gonna poke you. I recommend to start banning GP, because if you can't play him, then ban him, because he's simply just way too strong right now. In my just in my experience. As for lane matchup, as for your bot lane matchup, so or your jungle matchup, so Wukong is actually very weak, considering that he requires to be pretty much like level 6 to do anything good in for ganks. Otherwise, he has like an EQ for cleanup, which is like pretty standard for junglers, and his he needs his ult to be able to like CC and be able to set up anything. So when you have like these type of junglers, try not to like play champions that have like no CC in lane, or else it provides like pretty much the gank will be actually really difficult to pull off. As for Nunu, he's pretty much like flavor of the month right now because of how good he is with attack speed bonuses and AP bonuses. So with Yasuo, I think it's okay. Same with Jinx. It's just more he's more still a frontline. And then as for mid lane matchups, I think Echo wins as long as he build does not like get caught in the tornadoes and take substantial amount of damage from the Q pokes. And Twitch wins or Twitch loses against this, but then because Twitch has actually really bad scalings, he has like a little nuke with his E early on, but in terms of like actual damage output until that nuke is very minimal. So it'll be Karma be doing the heavy lifting here. 28-minute game, okay. So I will be speeding this up. Again, try to go over here if you can, because there's no reason for you to be up here, and like there's no one who ever really comes up to your side of the tower all the way up here. It's much better to sit like right here and just kind of like relax and like be a ward for your jungler, see if anybody invades, especially since it's a Nunu, and you have a Wukong jungle who's pretty weak as a jungler early on, and it's better to just to have that vision, which is good for you. Okay, good. You Q poked. We return the trade. So one thing that you should be doing is that you want to be able to rush 3 as soon as possible, because that's when you win, when you have the early level 3 advantage. So when especially when he was level 1, right, when the lane was like roughly like right here, you wanted to be attacking like these minions like over here. Simply because if you push, so because he's pushing the wave back no matter what, like the way that he's playing. So that if you get like if you get the minions here, then that means you will be the first to hit level 3, and that's when you beat him, because he usually gets oranges level 3. It's usually a Q into barrels and then oranges. But because you hit level 3 second, that means if you jump on him at any time, he's able to cleanse that with his oranges. So then, and then again, like right here, when there was like all these minions, you should never just let it crash the tower because your tower is pretty much full health, and it's very hard to take tower this early on, anyways. So now you're in this type of position where you pretty much have to farm in order to pretty much like stay in lane because he has the advantage of poking you. But whenever GP fails, like a double barrel, which you just saw right now, like right when he comes back to lane, right, he sets up another barrel and then immediately queues it. This is a perfect opportunity for you to dive onto him because his barrels take I think like 1.5 seconds. Pretty much, it's a long time for them to tick down, right? It's a perfect time for you to jump onto him because he just uses Q, right? So his Q is down. His barrels, he just lost two of them, assuming he has one in his reserve. So that means it'll be very hard for him to trade back because the only thing he can trade back with is his passive. So pretty standard. Again, playing passive like this is actually bad as Irelia. You want to abuse the fact that you can potentially kill him early because he's really squishy early on. You have corrupting pot, alright? So it's like when you go in, it's fine because you have potions to heal you back up if necessary. Like there's no reason to be afraid. Hey, there you go. Level 6 power spike. Very nice. Just sit in the bush and wait for him. Good. Okay. Pretty normal. Freeze the wave. See that bot lane is fighting, but you want to freeze the wave because the wave's already pushing towards you. And you can always just TP back. Because he just TP'd, right? It's fine to use TP early. Back to lane. Because at this point it's like, okay, so bot lane, that's what the carry already has 3 deaths, it's already been 8 minutes. That means like every 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, he's basically dying. So there's actually no point in TPing bottom because if you go, odds are Jinx can just kill you. So you might as well use that TP to help you in lane. Good with the pink ward. Okay, so Jinx is fed. And then Twitch Rage quits, it seems like. When you see that like he is like MIA, so if I do this, when you see this MIA, you shouldn't be queuing these minions at all, especially if you're not looking to come back. Your teleport is on roughly like 200 seconds left. There's no reason for you to be queuing these minions at all, because it doesn't refund the full mana cost. It only refunds pretty much like a little more than half. Alright, so you want to preserve that in the case that you have to stun somebody, or when you want to engage. Sorry, I had something that come up that just came up just now. So what led you to losing the top tower? Okay. See, if you had more mana, then you could have definitely stayed because you have your ultimate to gain health back from hitting all these minions and these two champions. But because you don't, it's very hard to just stay in lane. Lose a tower. So in this game, instead of going like daggers, it's much better to go like a cloth armor and then a dagger because she's fed. And they're basically all AD, and you want to get armor as soon as possible if you're looking to win this game, because you're already down 5k gold, and you don't want to make that deficit any further. So this teleport bot is good because you're splitting constantly. Um, One thing to note, yeah, it's probably better to stay away. But in this scenario, it's also like you don't ever like TP bot right here if you aren't to at least looking to get the tower. Because what you just did was you TP'd bot and then you back. So you wasted a 5-minute cooldown on 400 gold. And that's not gold effective. You want to use it whenever you have to use it. So like the lane was pushing here, yes, but the tower is like, at most it would have been to like half HP by the time you got there, right? So it wouldn't have mattered too much. So the 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 winning objective, or the thing to do to win right now, is to have basically you and Echo dive onto, well, your entire team dive onto Jinx and kill her as soon as possible, and then switch over to these three or these two. So priority would be here, these first, and then these two would be like second, depending on where they are. Preferably probably Yasuo because Yasuo's a bit, he has more gold in his pocket than GP because he has, and also he does more damage because his BFs deal more consistent damage at least. GP has a lot of downtime in between setting up his barrels and trying to get Sheen procs off. So another thing is like, you see that like, you just saw Jinx here, you know that Yasuo's down there, you know that Nunu's down there, so your best option is to keep on pushing. Like freezing here actually doesn't really do anything. Especially when you, yeah. Here you can't even do anything because Two of you are here, and then Wukong is over here, look, heading this way, and then two of you, your teammates are in mid. There's actually like you can't really do anything against this. You need your team to back and help you. Going in just was literally just suicidal. Because either way, this tower will fall, whether or not you go in or not, simply because they have Rift Herald. Rift Herald is just too strong of a objective pusher. Lose inhibitor, yeah, and then they don't back. And then Twitch is just trolling. Like these type of games are games that like it's just unavoidable. Like my recommendation is like if you see that if you see that you have like a jungler who is basically not meta or like basically not. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Getting so many interruptions throughout the day. So again, when you see that like there's a Wukong who's off like off meta and very weak. Like so this is basically champion select, right? So there's 30 I think it's 30 seconds left and you see these two teams. When you see that you have a jungler like this, odds are he will go full damage. And then you have an echo mid. So that basically leaves you as the person who needs to go full tank because you have a karma was AP bot basically AP support, right? So you can't count her as a tank and you can never count the ADC. So it's you have to go full tank, but you also pick that Irelia. Opposed to they already have a tank here and a tank here. Pretty much like a wall right here. Like they may be full AD, but they also have a lot of penetration from here, and she's going to build like Lord Dominic's or something later on anyways. Combined with the attack speed bonuses to buff these two. Just from looking at Champion Select alone, like these type of games are like you shouldn't play them. Like my recommendation is just don't play them because like this, like why are you Wukong jungle, right? And then you have no tank, and then the lane matchups look already rough as it is because Twitch basically surrenders lane. And he's inherently toxic because he's a rebellion tier of goddess. So whether or not that he was going to win lane or not, either way, I mean, Alistar is way too strong right now. So like they have basically four meta picks, four basically A to S tier champions, right? So it's like one here, one here, one here, one here, and this is like maybe like B tier or something. And then there's like this is probably like C tier because he doesn't provide anything, it just snowballs. This is probably like B tier. And this is like C tier because he needs to be late game to do anything well. And then this is like B tier. And that really, I think, is probably around like B tier. Because there's so many champions, like the bruisers meta right now is really bad. And I really is a bruiser because like there's no keystone that you can use up to its full potential. Like press the attack lets you do more damage after like 3 auto attacks, right? Like 3 auto attacks. So it's like, yes, that's good and all, but by the time you get like 3 autos off, you probably will be like CC locked or something like that. And it's not a comparison. It's like you can't even compare it to the damage that Fervor had. And then like Wukong again doesn't provide anything until level 6, and level 6 you basically can do things at like a 90-second cooldown. Echo's okay, he's definitely not bad. He's definitely a good split pusher. He's like the only thing that's, but his numbers are a bit weak. And then again with Twitch he sucks because you need to be like mid to late game, and if they just stomp you early then he's useless. It's one of the things you have to worry about. And then Karma doesn't really do anything either. She's good for poking when she gets like her cooldown earning her belt with ultimate hat, but compared to a hard initiator like Alistar, who just does everything that a tank, like whatever a tank needs to do, he can do. He basically is a pseudo tank of with his ultimate. He goes and he ultimates and then he like CCs these two or even your entire team because he's able to do so with his kit. So like these type of games is like it's really hard to just win just when looking at the champions alone. Your win condition probably for you was to, because like in lane you kind of just like sat here a little bit, like closer to here, and you kind of just like froze it, which is fine if he's backing or something and he's about to TP to lane because the lane's gonna, and then you can back and you TP or something like that. But like in a situation where you just need to do something for your team, like the way to carry this game was to just continuously split push, continuously apply pressure, switch out your trinket, your uh, your yellow trinket, which for blue trinket, which is what you did, which is good, and then like ward like right here or like right here or like right here, like things like that. You want to ward whenever you split push with the with the blue trinket so you don't get spotted. Yeah, this game is just rough in general, unless you start throwing, which I think they do for a little bit, but it's nothing like extraordinary. He's just inting at this point. That's good picks, good picks, good picks. Okay. But again, there's always just like this constant threat of right over here. The constant threat of bot lane. Because this, you guys lost an inhibitor. One thing you can do, you can use Twitch as bait, but again, a lot of this is really like it may feel like you guys are coming back, but it's really not because you guys are still down 8k gold and 3 dragons. Like you guys are winning these like fights now, but it's because they haven't disorganized. As soon as they get organized, it's basically game over, which probably happens because they take Baron. Yeah. Like this Baron dive was basically not worth it at all. I didn't realize that Yasuo wasn't there. That's pretty much GG. Yep. Again, the overcap. Um, if Twitch wasn't trolling, this game probably would have been winnable. But you know, when you buy, like it's clear he's just straight up inting and trolling. I hope you report him, by the way, and have ask you if other people report him. But overview or overcap, whatever. Keep on split pushing and be more aggressive when it comes to playing Irelia because you can't kill GP early on. GP early on doesn't have a lot of stats. His base stats are actually pretty shit. So you want to abuse as much as you can because Irelia can dive onto him very easily with her Q. And if he tries to run away, you can E him. But if he W's, his W is on like a almost 20-second cooldown opposed to your E, which is like a 9-ish or something like that. It's like half the amount of cooldown if you, and then the Q is about the same. So you can dive onto him twice in the same time that his W comes up once. Right? Yeah. Don't play with like champions that don't provide anything. It's like basically like a Shaco, and Shakos are always like hit or miss depending on how well they play. Right? It's not really worth it to play with someone that doesn't provide anything. Like at least Shaco can split push, right? Even though I think personally he's pretty shit. At least he can split push. And then their comp was just overall better. So it's like you have to gauge. And champion select is like, is my comp better? Or is their comp better? And if their comp is better, by how much? Right? If it's severely better, then, it's a game that you shouldn't be playing because it's a waste of time. Like, look what happened here. Yeah. Yeah. Be more assertive and be more aggressive in lane and try to split push more. Because you kind of just like froze and you kind of were playing really scared. Uh, if you have any questions, do let me know. I honestly don't remember what I said in the last review, so some stuff may be contradictory, but I'm telling you on what you should have been doing during the game. Like, if some of the words may be contradictory because some of the things may not align, but each individual game is different and each scenario is also different. So take that into account. If you have any questions about like what to do or like how should you optimize and etc., do let me know. And then another thing also is like your CS wise, you should have CS'd a lot more. Like you should have been more assertive in terms of like, grabbing CS, and then Ruin King second kind of isn't really a good idea because at this point they're like super fed. You should have probably got more armor if you wanted to combat them. But at the same time, it's like the game's already over. But yeah. Any questions about what I did or how am I thinking, etc.? Do let me know, and good luck on your next games.